This is the new sound. This is Sampledex.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sampledex Pod. This is episode 3. We have Julian back. You'll probably see a lot more of him. And I don't know, we're really going to talk about mixing in the box, and try to get down to the nitty gritty of things. I know that I have a lot of the fundamentals down, but we could always go over them again. But also he's going to give us some tips and tricks and ways to really just clean things up. All right. Without further ado, could you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Julian Frostbeats. I make beats, I'm a producer, I'm a musician for about 25 years. I have a recording studio and I love music and all the technical stuff about it.
It's amazing. So, I know me and you have talked a lot about mixing before, and you mentioned something that kind of stuck with me, and I actually have been noticing that I do way too much.
Okay, yeah.
I stripped down a lot of my workflow, redid it using a lot of my own plugins, which is nice, but I noticed that less is definitely more. But without I don't know. I can't really figure out the way to explain it the way you can. Can you kind of go through your mixing process, and then where do you think that your plugins actually come in, and how do you utilize them?
The first step would be gain staging. For people that never heard it before, gain staging does only mean to have a good volume on each track. So I take every track and I do volume at about -18, so nothing is clipping on the master bus, and every sound you can hear it, but it's not too loud. And then I start with the volume to mix every track so that it fits the complete track. And when I've done that, it's all not panned to the left or panned to the right, it's all like mono in the mid. And from there I begin putting up the volume. I like the guitar a bit louder, the drums a bit louder, and the bass. And from there on I start panning. So what do I want on the left? What do I want half left, half right, right? I don't do it's like math. I really do only half left, left, half right, right, and in the middle. Nothing really in between. Maybe effects that fill that space, but that's my panning law. So at first gain staging, then panning. And from there on, I look at every track if there's information I don't need. In the low end, in the high end. Let's say in hi-hat, you don't need audit low end from 300 down, so I cut it. And there are other instruments I don't need that information in the high end. I cut in the high end, so at 10,000, 12,000 kilohertz. That's the process to get a feeling for the song. The volume is set, you have panned the song, you cut it all down you don't need, so you have the first, let's say, listening session for the track. You hear without any effect. How does it sound? And when you feel there's something that's not really fitting the song, there's a frequency in the guitar, or let's say in the snare drum, I cut that frequencies I think that are not good in that track. But only a little bit, with a normal EQ, sweeping around and listening if there is some weird noise in there, and I cut that. And after cutting, I start with the real process in mixing, with compression and equalizer and effects, reverb, delay. The first step after cutting out is really compression. But not on every track. Only where I think the volume is going up and down a little bit too much. I need the compression for getting into a good overall level. And on the other hand, I put a compressor on tracks where I think the sound of this plugin, of this compressor plugin, suits that track, like a bass drum or a snare drum or a bass sound. I start compressing only a little bit. And then I try what is happening if I compress more and more. And the attack and release buttons are really important. As you know, the attack is how fast it really puts in, and the release, how fast it gets back. And if it's too fast, you hear, let's say, a pumping sound. So
Yeah.
I try a little bit more, not so much, and I do it as long as I feel it needs more and more. And if it's too much, only a little bit back and it's set. And when the tracks are compressed, I start EQing. And there are two processes for me with the EQ that are really important. One thing is to make place for the instruments. Let's say a guitar is really hitting you hard at 400 hertz and the snare drum needs this place. So you need to find a way to cut a bit there and on the other track to get room for the instruments. You don't want them to blend over. Every instrument needs the room. And the other way is I use the equalizer to push frequencies I think that are a bit missing in the instruments. Let's say a bass drum, it has a lot of bass down there, but it's not really hitting you. So I try 200 Hz, 250, putting a little bit, 2, 3, 4 dBs. But it's not only a little bit. If I think there's way much more that I need in that, it can be 10 dB or more. I really hear often myself that people say, "Oh, don't do such heavy pumping or such heavy frequency pushing." I do. If I feel and I like it, I do it. So there are no specific rules for that. So on the one way, separation. On the other way, putting frequencies to support the instruments, like bass drum, snare, bass, and such. And when I'm confident about that the compression and the equalization is on a good way, I start using effects like reverb, delay, phaser, flange, and something like that. Something is important when you use these things. You really want your audio to sound good in stereo, but to sound good in mono too. So be aware if you use something like a stereo widener, listen to mono every time after 10, 20 minutes. Is it okay in mono, or is there a volume that's not okay when you put from stereo to mono and back and you hear, oh, there's something missing or there's something different, then there's a problem. And I use reverb to put an instrument in a room, like an ambience. I want it more in the background, I want it more in front of me, and I use delay to fill gaps on each side. Let's say you have one acoustic guitar on the left, but no other instrument at that moment on the right. So I put it on the left, the guitar, and I put the delay into the right to get a good stereo sound, a full stereo sound. There are a lot of effects you can use. Reverb, delay, flanger, phase editor, all only basic things. You have transient designer for drums, for example, or you have something like a mid-side reverb or widener effect. But it doesn't matter. Use what you feel that really fits and suits that sound, that song. And after that, really only after that, I start making groups. I drum group, a guitar group, bass group, vocal group, where I compress again. But I really do that after the effects, because I want to hear how that compression really affects the effects I used before. And something I really had to learn in the digital is that effects, reverb, delay, sounds a bit different in analog. And I tried finding out what is it. And I think it's the conversion, the AD-DA conversion, but that's not a problem. I use compression and equalization on that effect too. So I compress a reverb and I delay a reverb, or I put a reverb on a delay to get more of a intimate feeling. You really can experiment with that. And there are a lot of ways to do it. There's no right way, no wrong way. When it sounds good, it is good.
Yeah, that definitely, well, you definitely broke it all down for there. Us right there.
Okay.
So as far as the plugins you go use, do you have like any favorites, or do you kind of, are you one of those people that's kind of always evolving and changing new things, or have you stuck with the same plugins for a while?
I tried a lot of plugins in the first place. Is it Waves or is it UAD and other companies? Then I have found my plugins to use, but I do not stop at this time. Let's say 6 months ago, then I try new plugins. I think, oh, maybe these are great, but don't underestimate the plugins that are really coming with your DAW. It's like in Cubase and Logic, there are really good plugins in there. Or let's say Reaper, what I use, it's like you have a great compressor and a great equalizer in that. You don't need to buy it, but if you want something, let's say special mid-side and something like that, mostly it doesn't come with the program, with the software, so you need a new one. And I think the difference is not all in the sound, it's really in the function what you need. Because if you want a special sound in a plugin, you think it's really clean sounding or something like that, you can use a saturation before or after a plugin, or you can use a little bit of a flange that's only flanging down there at 200 hertz or something like that. But I think it's normal for us to look if there are better plugins out there, and there are a lot of plugins coming out, and you can really lose yourself in all that stuff to maybe 5,000 plugins you have, or maybe you buy the Waves bundle with 2,500 plugins or something like that. There are a lot of good companies out there. I don't want to say I like that and that one. Some people say they don't use Waves, they don't like the sound. I can say there are some plugins I really like, but it's the same way with UAD or with other companies. And try. There are a lot of demos for that plugins. Try what you like, and I think I don't really see a lot of plugins I say, "Whoa, that's really bad." There are not a much. I think people that started making plugins and didn't get it right, they did stop a lot of years ago. So I think most of the plugins are really good, very good today. And look at the big companies, look at the small companies, look at Sampledex. I find a good plugin. Yeah, there are a lot of stuff. And pick an EQ and compressor and flanger. Pick one for every apartment, I would say, and then find another way to complement. Let's say you have an equalizer that's really clean, that's sterile sounding, and then find a one that puts a little bit of saturation in it, a little bit more musicality. And then you use this one when you need it and that one when you need it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good advice. So, if someone was trying to become a mixing engineer or mastering engineer, how do you think they should do it? Should they reach out and try to do like some free gigs and just collaborate with their friends? How did you go through the process? How did you get your reps up and get that portfolio going?
You mean where the tracks are coming from, or do you think?
Oh no, when someone's just starting to be a mixing engineer, so if they want to be a mixing engineer, mastering engineer, how do you think they should go about it? A lot of people I see reaching out and offering 10 free tracks or whatever, working with people, and they have that countdown, only got 9 left, 8 left, and trying to get those free reps in. Should they post on Instagram? Like, how do you do it? Is it better to meet with people in person, work at a studio? What would be your suggestion?
I think both ways or all the ways are good. Not only take one way, like let's say Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. Meet people yourself. If you have in your neighborhood or next to you some people that make music, collaborate with them. But also on social media, collaborate with Instagram, YouTube. Find the people that you think you can work in a good way. Nice people that have, let's say, the same music impressions that you like, and that are maybe on the same level like you. Because I think after 25 years, like I said before, I never finished. I learn everything every day, some new things I could not imagine before. There's someone that started, let's say, 1 year for 1 year mixing and mastering, and he has some tip for me, and it's really great. So don't think, oh, he's a young guy or he can't do it. No, try and find the people you really want to work with and collaborate on every channel you find or meeting in person, and push each person yourself. So other people should push you, and you should push other people to come along and to step up a bit.
Okay. So how did you do it? Did you collaborate with a lot of people in the beginning? Did you work in a studio? How did you learn most of your mixing techniques? And I know, did you start off analog or did you start off in the box?
I start off in the box, of course, because it was way cheaper than all that analog gear and that analog stuff. And we had a band, really a rap group, a rap band, and we all wanted to rap. So, but we needed someone that really mix that songs, that record that songs, that makes beats, and I started to get really interesting about it. So I tried to look at some videos online on YouTube. How are they doing it? But be aware, there are some really good ones and there are really bad ones. You have to try and to find out what is a good way for you. So it was really bad sounding in the beginning, I really have to say, yeah. But it was getting better. I started trying this and that one and that start, and I showed the people and talked to them and said, okay, how do you like it? Do you think it's good? Do you like the drums? Do you like the guitar sound and so on? And when you have good people around you or online on social media and they are really giving you tips, don't say, oh, come on, he's only bashing it. If it's, I don't know really the word for it, let's say constructive criticism. Yeah, that's a good way. Because you learn a lot of things when people not try to bash you, but they're trying to help you and say, that one, I think it's a bit too loud, it's a bit too heavy, and so on. Really listen to that people, and you find new ways. Then I was trying to mix a bit live sound. It was in the beginning, and I did learn a lot of that too, because live sound is a bit different, but there are some formulas you're doing in the live sound, and the people showed me how they do it, and I tried it, and I came back to the studio and saw, maybe it's a good way to try it like live sound at the beginning and then coming back to the studio, and all that processes really have been growing my mind, I would say. So how you can do it, what you can do, and you never finish how to learn to mix a song or master a song. You're getting better and better. Maybe not when you are 17 years old or older. Your ears may be a problem, but maybe not. Maybe there are people out there that are really old and are doing great mixes. So it's only like a funny compliment about older people with the ears that's maybe getting problems here.
So, do you think that, like, how should people practice? Should they get songs that are already made and then reference them and then try to make something like that or mix a song that's like that? Or should they just try to mix their own beats and see if they're getting better or mix their own songs? What would you suggest how people practice exactly?
I would say a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Because if you mix your own stuff, it's a whole different world, because you can imagine the sound, you know how it should sound in the end, and it's a bit more problematic to mix the own vocals. For example, you hear your vocals another way other people hear it, because your ear, when you speak, you hear your voice, and it sounds different when you mix it. But mix your own songs, mix another songs from friends or people that would like to have a mix and they support you in that way. But also try to recording your own instruments, because when you start recording your own instruments, you get a feeling for that sound, and that's a good thing too for the mixing process and the mastering in the end. So at the beginning, take what you can and try it as much as you can, and making bad sound, okay, it does happen. Don't get unmotivated because of that. Go on and practice and find people that are telling you how you can make it a little bit better, or new technologies they use, and that's the way to connect again.
So when you're saying recording your own instruments, do you mean like acoustic guitar with a mic, or like someone playing a MIDI keyboard in? Is that enough, or what exactly are you talking about?
I would say instruments are good, like vocals, guitars, drums, but also if you have a plugin and you're playing your MIDI, what you can do, and a lot of people do it to have a special sound. Let's say you record a MIDI sound or synthesizer or something like that. You can re-record that sound from the speaker to the microphone and put it underneath that MIDI sound, so you have a bit of a more saturated instrument, a more of a saturated sound, and that pushes the sound into the front, and it sounds a bit more, let's say, explosive or more intimidate. Yeah.
Nice. It's a good tip. So when you're recording, what are your favorite like instrument groups to work with? What do you go back to a lot? Like, what sounds do you find yourself going back to?
Drums, vocals, bass. That's the things I really start with normally, because in black music I really want the drums to hit you, the bass to really push down there, and the vocals to stay up front and intimidate, and drums, bass and vocals should be like an own song. it's enough. If it sounds good with drums, bass, and the vocals, you know the song will become good. But if you put on the guitars and the synthesizers and so on, it will make, let's say, more interesting in a way, to the left and to the right when the sound comes in. But in black music, I think drums, bass, and vocals are the most important things for me. That's my thing, I think, yeah.
And then just for our viewers, in Germany, black music is hip hop rap, basically.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I was stationed there for a long time, but everybody might not know. So, what would you give? What are some advice you'd give for people that have like practiced for a long time and they feel like they're not getting better? I feel like a lot of people, they feel like they're practicing, but they might not be practicing. Is there?
Okay.
Do you do you think they need to change things up more? Maybe get out of their genre, get more eyes on their music. What would you think? Someone that feels like they're not progressing, but they've done it for a long time.
Looking into another music groups like, let's say, jazz music or maybe pop music, yeah, it's good to get a feeling for that, because it's the same mixing process, but the sound is a bit different. And if you have a recording studio next to you, maybe write to them, write them email, contact them on social media, and maybe you can attend a session when they are recording, when they are mixing in that recording studio. Look over the shoulders from the guys, and you can learn a lot of things from the people that are doing it on daily basis or for a long time. And I think a lot of guys are really friendly for that purpose, that are really helping you. And maybe you help with putting up some microphones or cleaning up the room or something like that, and instead of that you can attend the session and look really closely what they are doing. You don't need to do the same thing, but maybe the one or other thing is good for you, and you have to find out which of the things are something you level up. You really grow with that one. And maybe there are other, not only recording studios, but producers that are doing their own beats and something like that. Ask them if they show you some things, if they show you the process, how they start, how they progress with the audio, with the instrumentation about that. And like I said, there are a lot of ways you can do it. There's no correct way, but you have to find out which one really you like and makes you feel comfortable. Let's say you feel comfortable with one way, like starting with the drums and the bass, but another person would say, oh no, I start with the guitars. I really love the guitars. Yeah, do it. Okay, that's great.
And I've seen like so you said like you can go to different genres and the mixing process, a lot of it's still the same. So I noticed there's a lot of like online classes, and they start out with live instruments and there's a bunch of tracks, but you can follow along with it. Does that skill still transfer to someone that's making hip hop, rap, or more synthesized music if they're using live instruments?
Oh no, I would say it's a bit of the synthesizer, a bit of the live instrumentation. When we are going back in time and look how the music has been done, let's say the rap music, there have been samples. And what are the samples? It has been live music that was recorded and that was sampled again. So why not recording some live instrumentation, live music, mix it into some drum sampler packages like MPC beat or an SP1200 beat. That was the way it was done back in the days, and I think a lot of people don't really know that not only been sampling in the past, in the 90s or in the early beginnings, a lot of people came into the studio, had a guitar, a bass guitar, and they played a live bass. It wasn't sampled or something like that. The live process is a bit different because you have another feeling when you're in the room with the musicians. And I really like that way to make music and to hear the music and to record it. And maybe you record this live instrumentation and you sample it after it. Why not? You can do it. So you have a bit more control on the sample, on the instrumentation. Do it, yeah.
Okay. So we're getting close to the end here. We're going to do our rapid fire. So there's going to be 3 quick questions. And
Okay.
let me know when you're ready and I'll start.
I'm ready.
All right. What's your favorite song?
Oh, quick question. Favorite song? I would say the first song I really liked was Nas.
Okay.
I don't know the song name. It was from the first album, the first CD I really heard, and the lyrics were so great for me. The beat and the lyrics were pushing me, and yeah, I really love Nas and that style. But there are a lot of other artists I really like. Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite plugin?
My favorite plugin is no plugin.
Plugin.
When I don't need a plugin, the sound is perfect as it is. So that's funny, but it's a true.
Okay.
That's true for sure. But if I would have to pick one, it would be a transient designer like an SPL. I really love how it pushes the drum sounds.
Okay. So, last question. What is your favorite DAW besides Reaper? Do you have one?
FL Studio.
FL Studio?
For making beats, for taking around the synthesizers and some MIDI sound and so on. I think it's very comfortable to use it with MIDI and some stuff because of the. I don't like it for recording, I have to say that, but for making beats and music, I really like FL Studio. Yeah.
Okay. And before we go, can you tell us where to find you, what you're working on, and just give a word of advice to people, I guess, coming up in the mixing and mastering realm?
You can find me on Instagram, JulianFrostBeats. And my tip would be that, you want to know, I'm working on some new CDs, some new album with a singer-songwriter, but it's a mixture of R&B and rap music. It's, I would say, musical-driven flow rap music.
Okay.
Maybe you can call it like that. Yeah. We're working on that. We started the last weeks. We have 3 tracks right now, and there will be 10, 11 more. We try to finish it the half year, the first of the half of 2026. Maybe we can complete it. Let's see.
Let's see.
And the advice would be never stop making what you love. If you love music, don't stop making music. There will be a time you really don't have time for making music, or you're not in the mood for making music. It's okay. Maybe you're doing no music for 2 months, for 3 months, but don't stop it. After that, get back into what you love, do it again, and I think success is not coming from your working the whole day, 20 hours a day, and because of that you are getting so good. It's a bit of trying, of working on it, and it's a bit how you really like it or if you love it. So do it.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. It's been
Thank
great
you.
talking to you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, of course.
This is the new sound. This is Sampledex.